Yeah, all this stuff works too, like the tempo and volume and balance.
I don't know how you get anything done, man.
I don't. This leads us into my cracked pot theory.
Ooh, yes.
Did I write that on the paper?
You wrote crackpot, but I'm reading it as cracked pot.
Oh, okay. No. Simple misspelling here.
That's all right.
So this leads into my also crackpot theory of why America shattered the Elden Ring, why all the establishing events took place. Because as Smotown, if you listen to him, he's pointed out a nice detail that all of the item descriptions have like a perspective. Like they're written by either, like most of them are written by people who are fans of the Golden Order, because all the item descriptions build up the Golden Order and dismiss everything else. But there are some item descriptions that are written from other perspectives. However, that leads us to kind of question a lot of the things that we hear, because it's like one of those victors write the history thing. And so you had asked why Godwin, right?
Yep.
Why did they kill Godwin and not kill America? Do you have any thoughts on that before I dive into my tinfoil hat?
Well, I know that America was a Newman, right? And I'm starting to finally piece the lore together in slightly more understandable way. So my very boiled down thought process is that you have the Newmans, which are from underground or far off land, however you want to, both maybe. Okay. You have the Carians that are from the Liurnia area, right? And then you have the whatever you would call Godfrey. What would you call him?
He was just a warrior of the Badlands.
Okay.
A barbarian of the Badlands.
Well, you have these three kind of factions, right? Yeah. And then you have the outer gods and all that stuff. And the outer gods somehow found Marika, who I still don't fully understand how Marika is Radagon and Radagon is Marika, but Radagon was married to the Carians, right? Through Renala.
Yeah.
Right? Red hair and Renala.
Yep.
Gold hair and the barbarians. Right? Married to Horlu.
Yep.
Don't know that I could accurately say which happened first or what was going on with all of that.
Barbarians happened first because Godfrey is her first husband.
Yep.
And then she banished Godfrey.
Okay.
And then I don't know if it was before or after the Liurnian Wars.
Okay.
But once the Liurnian Wars started, that's when Radagon started coming out. That's the first mention of Radagon.
Got it.
And then so he stopped the wars by marrying Renala. At
But
this
then,
time, I'm assuming Marika and Godfrey are still together, having babies. Radagon and Renala are having babies.
Yep.
Okay, so hear me out.
Okay.
None of those children have any defects, right? They're all fine.
Yeah.
They're all good. Okay, so then...
Except for...
the
omens, right?
Okay, yep, the omens.
Okay.
Yeah, that was with Godfrey.
Yep.
That was when stuff started to go sour with Godfrey.
Yep.
Banishes Godfrey. Second husband is Radagon, right? Steals him from Renala.
So they were two separate people beforehand, and then they came together as one person?
That's one theory.
Okay.
My cracked pot theory is that every demigod has the ability to make a male and a female aspect. Especially Empyreans.
Okay.
We look at Mikola and Saint Trina.
Yep.
We look at Marika and Radagon.
Okay.
Those are the only two examples I can think of right now.
Sure.
I think that the reason that Mikola and Melania have their problems is not because Marika and Radagon are the same person and they had kids. here we go. I'm going to drop the I word. Incest.
Oh, no.
I think that they couldn't have any kids.
Okay.
I think that was the problem.
Okay.
America married Radagon. I can't have kids with myself.
Yeah.
I love being married to myself because I'm a huge narcissist.
Yeah,
As we see America is.
Yeah.
But she can't reproduce with herself.
Okay.
Here's Godwin.
Ah.
So Godwin is her son. Godwin, the idea is that anytime that Marika was Radagon, because they're not two different people, they're the same person.
Yeah.
Anytime Marika was out as Radagon, Godwin would shift his aspect to be Marika. He would stand in for Marika while she was gone as Radagon. Anytime Marika was away, Godwin would stand in as Radagon.
That is a cracked pot right there.
The reason that Melania and Mikola have problems is because they're a product of incest between Godwin and Marika, being Radagon with Marika, but Radagon or Marika is actually Godwin.
Okay.
So that gives them the ability to appear as two different people, but it was actually Godwin the whole time, and he's the only one who knew. And so they knew that the only way to strike at Marika would be to destroy her way of producing any more heirs.
Yeah.
And the only person who knew the secret of how she produced more heirs was Godwin.
Oh.
So they killed Godwin.
So there's the note that you run into in the game, which is Marika is Radagon.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
Godwin?
Why? Why would Godwin write that?
Because
that makes me think that there are some journalists or something in the Elden Ring land, basically, some people that are like, well, we're just trying to bring out the truth of the matter.
That could be Mikola, because Mikola said it plumbed the depths of the Golden Order and couldn't find a healing for Melania's sickness.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he couldn't find any recourse for that, because he was missing this big thing that him and his sister, that Radagon wasn't their father, that Godwin was their father.
So then, because Marika's sickness is an outer god. Mm-hmm. The rot's from an outer god.
Yeah.
Mogwin's whole blood thing is from an outer god.
Yep.
Right? So is it that incest would have opened up the door for an outer god to come in? A different outer god than the one that was presumably
all
a part
the
of Marika?
Empyreans have an outer god that they're associated with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just a thing of being an Empyrean. I think that makes you an Empyrean, is if your connection with an outer god is translated to you by your fingers.
Okay.
And then that's what makes you an Empyrean.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't think the incest has anything to do with that.
But it has to do with somehow the rot taking over.
The death? Like Godwin's death seeping through the land?
Yes, okay. I'm with you now. I think my mind was so blown apart right there that it was like, wait a minute, what aspect of this are we even talking about?
This is pieced together from some theories I've heard online. This is not my I don't remember all the places I've gotten this stuff, but this is not from my own head. This is based on a lot of other people's hard work too. But after reading, I've read all of A Song of Ice and Fire, as I've said. If the guy who wrote this,
then incest. It's
incest.
Yeah, okay.
It's incest. People.
That's fair. I will be very intrigued to see if there's any hint to that in the DLC that comes out, the Shadow of the Erd Tree. Because presumably it has to do from one still image, presumably it has to do with Saint Trina, right?
Or Mikola in the past.
Right. So presumably we'll get at least some inkling.
Yeah.
A little clue forward.
Oh. We'll end this segment maybe soon, because I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But maybe let's just give in 3 or 4 sentences what we hope is in the DLC.
Okay, you go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. I would love it if we follow Mikola as he tries all the different things to cure Melania. Mm-hmm. And we're following in his footsteps and kind of exploring each avenue, and eventually, hopefully, it could lead to a realization of why Godwin was killed. Because Mikola is the one who said, "Brother, dear brother, please die a true death," in reference to Godwin. So I have to imagine he was searching, why do we have this sickness? What's going on? And that would lead him to some sort of revelation about his birth, or at least the murder of Godwin. Why Godwin? So I'm hoping that was way more than 3 sentences.
Yeah.
I'm done now.
Begs the question, is Mikola Seath the Scaleless of Elden Ring?
Oh my God.
What I hope to see, and this is less from an understanding lore perspective and more from what I just think would be kind of cool to get to do or see in the game. So Godwin and Mikola are the only 2 Empyreans that we don't get to fight. I would love to potentially fight one or both.
Yes.
Okay?
Have to.
Just because it feels right? But the other thing, and what I hope it deals with, is the primordial Erd tree before the Greater Will, which would be very time before. Like, you'd be time traveling way the heck back, in which case the whole Mikola St. Trina thing probably wouldn't happen, which I'd love for that to happen for the lore, but I want to see what stuff was like pre the Greater Will.
Yes, I want to see the Crucible too. Oh my gosh, I don't think that's coming yet.
I know.
That's probably the second DLC.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I know.
Okay, we'll end this section that was supposed to be about the Round Table Hold. Do you have any wrap-up thoughts about the Round Table Hold?
Getting invaded in the Round Table Hold is terrifying. The first time, when you know it's coming, it is trivial as heck.
Yes, by Mad Tongue Alberic.
Yes, well, and also by Mr. Stans.
Ensha.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yep. But yeah, I like that it keeps opening up a little bit more and more and more. I love the further NPCs that show up.
Yep.
As much as I hate them as characters, I love them too. It's just a cool hub world, and it's what my thought was the natural moving forward from like Dark Souls 3 having its own like isolated hub versus the interconnected hubs of Majula or the Firelink Shrine.
Well, and that goes back to Demon Souls, right? Because
Demon Souls is a disconnected hub too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Nexus.
The Nexus.
The other thing I want to talk about Round Table Hold is the Finger Reader and the Fingers. Once we finally defeat Godric and claim a Great Rune, then a door opens up and we see the first look at the 2 fingers. And if we touch them, we get the emote Rapture.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then we have an old grandma lady with really big toes tell us about the fingers and that they're like envoys of the Greater Will, and they kind of communicate to the people of the lands between what the Greater Will wants. And then the fingers do some moving and shaking, and she changes her voice and says like, "You have to kill all the demigods. Stick a sword in their heads," you know. And then we can trade in Godric's remembrance for either a big axe
or Dragon Hands.
Dragon Hands.
Which is my new game plus dual wield weapon. I'm a Dragon Hand boxer guy. It's super fun. It's really dumb. It's so fun though. The uppercut of Bear Witness as the Ash of War is like so satisfying.
Yeah. And
I can't wait to beat Radagon and the Elded Beast with Dragon Hands. It's going to be a good time. I will ask one final question that we don't have to answer now, but something to potentially ponder. The Finger Readers, how many arms they got?
At least 4.
Ronnie, how many arms she got?
At least 4.
All right, well that's what the question is leading towards. Is Ronnie born to be a finger reader?
But Ronnie's also a doll.
Ronnie's a doll later.
But does she have 4 arms as herself?
Yes.
Like in the dead version we find, she has 4 arms?
You meet Ronnie before she's the doll.
When?
You get the doll later.
No. I mean, she is a doll.
From the get-go?
Yeah, because she got the whole Godwin thing we just talked about. They killed Godwin in body, but they killed they killed Godwin in spirit. They killed Ronnie in body.
Oh.
So
Well,
she's a doll from
why would the doll have forearms if it wasn't based on who she was? Because all of the other dolls in the game are based on the exact physique of the character.
It's based on the teacher who taught her cold magic.
Which is presumably a finger reader then?
Presumably a finger reader.
Oh, interesting.
Or one of those what are those Wraith Revenant guys? They have forearms too. They kind of look like Ronnie's doll form.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry, I didn't mean to shoot down your cracked pot theory there.
Oh, it's still there. See, deep down in my heart, in my brain, I know it's not.
Because the
body, but in my heart, Ronnie's a young cracked pot,
young cracked
pot, a young finger reader.
Yeah, or her. Yeah. Okay. We'll let the audience decide.
Well, but think about it. She hates the greater will, right?
That's true.
Well, imagine how much you would probably hate it if you're born with all this power and then it's like, and you know what you're supposed to do? Sit there and grow old staring at a pair of fingers telling us what they want to do. And she would have unique insight into what they want to do because she can read them, and that would potentially mean that she would hate it so much that she wants to get rid of all of it. I don't know. It's motivation. It's maybe a very cracked pot. It's potentially it's Alexander after the fight with Radon cracked, but
he didn't seem very cracked, just mentally and emotionally.
Yeah,
perhaps. Well, tell us in the comments. What do you think? Is it incest or is Ronnie a finger reader?
Oh my gosh, that cat scared the heck out of me. I didn't know it was down there, and I just saw a shadow moving. Oh my goodness.
Okay, let's talk about Kenneth, because this opens a whole box of worms for me.
Interesting that you get your worms in boxes.
Yes.
I always go for cans.
Cans, yes. But Kenneth says that help even from a Tarnished, but he is the same size as us.
Sure.
Okay, so all the other characters that we meet that are the same size as us, they all seem to be tarnished.
But the Tarnished are also coming from afar. The Tarnished are, at least from implication that I get from Patch's dialogue and other people's dialogue, the Tarnished are all drawn in from afar. Whereas my understanding of Kenneth is that he's kind of a homeboy, he's from there. So
the only other character that I can think of that shares the NPC model body that isn't a Tarnished would be I just lost it.
Describe them.
Kindred of Rot guy, Sage Gowry. But can you think of anybody else who's not a Tarnished?
Who's not a Tarnished? Well, is Gostok a Tarnished? I mean,
but he has a weird noble body.
Sure.
You can't make yourself look like Gostok, but you can make yourself look like Kenneth Haight.
Yes, that's true. But I mean, so if we're talking the nobles, the nobles aren't that build though. They're not the long neck, long arms. They're lanky because they're kind of bacony looking.
They look like prunes,
like classic Dark Souls characters.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking of all of the NPCs that I know that are Tarnished.
Yeah.
Are human or humanoid looking, right?
Yeah. I guess there's Lady Tanith.
Yep. Is she Tarnished?
I don't think so.
Okay, and she's humanoid.
No, they said that she was a dancer in a far off land.
So she is Tarnished.
So she might be Tarnished, yeah.
Yeah, she's just following one of the other, not Tarnished, but one of the demigods.
How did Kenneth Haight make it through all those years, not catch the America, hey, get out of town, didn't get a wrinkly face or a long neck?
Yeah.
He really seems to have hit the jackpot.
He really does, genetically at least.
Genetically.
Yeah, I think he's been there since, not day one, obviously, but he's from there.
Yeah.
Because he's a ruler from there. But he's looking for somebody worthy of the throne, right? So he's an underlord, and basically, in my mind, a steward, kind of Denethor from Lord of the Rings, except not crazy tomato eating.
Yeah,
guy, right?
he's low on the line of succession, and
Right.
it seems like he doesn't really want all that responsibility. He's
Well,
looking for someone.
he kind of implies that he's not a big fan of responsibility from the way he sends you to do all the work.
Yeah, so that's just my weird thing with Kenneth. And again, weird NPCs.
I would suspect that Kenneth is probably I think that he is somehow of the golden lineage in a distant way, just like Godric.
Mm-hmm.
He's just maybe recognizing like, oh, well, it's not that serious. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't
calm
have
down,
ambitions.
Godric.
Yeah.
You know, you're not even that brave of a guy.
So if you have any ideas, the listener, of who Kenneth is and what's the deal with Kenneth Haight, tell
Sounds
us.
like a book.
Because we don't know. He's
Yeah.
kind of a mystery.
He is.
Hey, this is Editing Alex in the future. Wasn't that a bit of fun? We talked about George R.R. Martin and Kenneth Haight and finger reader toes. But don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast because we love when people listen to us. And also, if you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at themaidenlesspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.